Hi, I'm Moses Leos for the Hayes Free Press, and this is the Athlete of the Week. And this week we highlight Wallace 8th grader Alexus Denen. Denen has played volleyball for the Lady Rangers since her 7th grade year and was a part of the 2012 team that won district. However, she has participated in volleyball since she was in the 4th grade. She has now progressed to the competitive world of club volleyball, where she competes with the Alamo North volleyball team, which will vie for a spot in nationals later this year. And now, this week's Athlete of the Week, Alexus Denen.
All right, Alexus, so let's begin with how you started out in volleyball. You told me you started out at the YMCA. Take me through that experience. What was it like?
I was a 4th grader, so it was kind of confusing at first because I had never really been athletic as I was younger. And I just got to learn the positions and where you're supposed to be and how the game of volleyball works. So that was good, and then it just led me on into my volleyball. Yeah.
You talk about that, moving into the next level of volleyball. You moved into club play, and you started off, I believe, the top flight in Kyle. What was that experience like compared to the YMCA?
It was a lot different because it's more competitive and you're expected more of, so the coaches hold a higher standard for you. And that was a bit challenging at first, but eventually I moved up and became captain of that team.
Mm-hmm.
So then it worked out, and I had other coaches looking at me and other clubs saying, hey, I want this girl to come play for me. So I improved a lot, but it was still a really hard transition.
Hard but fun, right?
Yes.
All right, so you had that experience, you continued through it, and then you also moved on to, I believe it's Alamo North now. It's called Alamo North Volleyball. The competition increased, right?
Yes, it increased a lot. I went from being a regional to a semi-national to this year a national. And the semi-national, you go around Texas, but you don't really go out of state that much. And it was a lot more intense. We played top level teams. We played the best of the best. We played the top team in the country, and we put up as much of a fight as we could.
Awesome. All right, so you fought through that, and also you told me about when moving up to Alamo North, you learned different positions. You really learned about them. You really got into detail. Tell me about that, about the different positions, and what made it so difficult.
Well, I went from being a hitter at top flight to it's really aggressive and you're always just going to being a setter, where you're always moving to the ball and you have to touch the ball on every play. Where it's more calm and peaceful, and when you describe setting, they describe it as the calm way of carrying the ball to where it's supposed to go. So it was a lot harder to go from being really aggressive to having to really control myself, and my hands were everywhere at first, but then it started to make sense and towards the end, so it kind of worked out.
All right. Transitioning from club volleyball to school volleyball was another big challenge for you. That was a little bit difficult, and you kind of mentioned that. How difficult is it for those who might not know?
Well, in club there's not as many rules, and you have to go through. In club, there's a lot of things that you have to register for, and it's more intense. In school, some people have never played before, so you have to kind of learn to pick up your players or sadly play down. So it's just kind of difficult. Like if you have a teammate that's lower than you are in skill level, then you have to kind of play down with your teammate to help them pick their level up.
Okay. All right, so moving on into Wallace here, you've really worked hard with the team. Last year you won district, you were district champs last year, and now you're trying to repeat. How has that transition gone this year?
It's been pretty difficult because we have a different team. We have a couple different players on our team, but they all earn their position, so I'm glad they're on the team. And it's kind of difficult because right now we've already lost to a school, but last year we lost one game, so we're hoping that that'll be our only loss and we'll finish out the season with wins. It's just been difficult because a lot of people don't play year-round. Only me and 2 other girls play year-round now. So we don't really have the skill, the skill level doesn't match, and there's more leaders on the court now than there were last year, so there's a lot of butting heads, name-calling, everything that would happen with teenage girls.
I got you. But you're working hard as a team.
Yes.
You're working hard as a team. Okay. All right. So let's talk about one other thing about training during the summer months. That's something which really intrigued me. Going through sand volleyball. Mm-hmm. Now I know a lot of people have played sand volleyball before, but just from your standpoint, as an amateur athlete, how difficult was it compared to court volleyball? How difficult was sand volleyball?
It was very difficult because it's harder to move in sand than it is on the court, and naturally you want to play with the sand because, I mean, it's fun to play with sand.
Right.
But it's just harder to move, and it kind of holds you back. Like your feet grip onto the sand and it holds you back, and you're flying all over the place. You have sand in your eye. It was hot, so I was ready to go home.
But it helped you condition, though. It really made a difference, right?
Yes, moved a lot faster.
All right. So you told me. So what are some of your goals then for moving into high school and then beyond high school?
In high school, my freshman year, I want to make at least the junior varsity team for volleyball, and I want to graduate at least salutatorian. And I'm shooting to go to UT Law when I graduate high school, but if I just go to UT, I'll be okay.
For archives of previous Athletes of the Week, check out the Hayes Free Press webpage at www.hayesfreepress.com. And if you would like to nominate someone for Athlete of the Week, be sure to send in the nominee's name and a brief description of their accomplishment to Moses at hayesfreepress.com. For the Athlete of the Week, I'm Moses Leos.